don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So today it's time for the mid-month mini mission inspiration over on our Facebook group. URL there, there's a clickable link in the description below if you want to go pop across and join us in our monthly art challenges. But this month for March, the mid-month mini mission prompt is the word repeat, which is copy, reuse and repeat. Use the same image or motif multiple times. So repeating patterns, repeating motifs, repeating shapes, words, whatever, which I'm going to do in a moment. But first of all, a job I've been putting off for quite some time. So this is my my tag journal, which has an acetate clear protective cover and an MDF back. Or low formaldehyde formation medium density fiberboard or whatever. It's formaldehyde free as well. So but I haven't decorated it. We're 3 months in now. I've done 2 projects already, about to do a third, and I still haven't decorated the back of my journal, so I'm going to do that first. So what I've done is I've pulled out an old paper pad. This is K&Company Tim Coffee designer papers, and I've pulled out 2 sheets that I like. So we've got the nice fern ones, which I'm looking forward to unfurling in my garden later on in the year. I've got quite a few ferns in there and I miss them, and I can't wait for them to grow and unfurl again. And I've also got this one, which has got the ladybird, as we call them here in the UK, ladybirds, not ladybugs, and I've got a bee. So they're going to be my 2 covers. So the green is going to go on the back, but I'm not particularly too fussed about where the pattern's going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of measure, take a pencil and just mark my lines there. So I've got the kind of shape that I need to cut out for the back, and for the front I definitely want that in the middle. So we'll just raise that so it's about level. And this is how easy it is to use your fronts and backs of these tag journals as templates. Et voila, 'tis done. So I just need to cut those out now. So just have to remember, I've buried it under my own detritus here. I just have to remember to cut with inside a line, because we've used the outside as the template line. And I'm just going to use a scalpel because that's what I'm comfortable with, but obviously you can cut with whatever you like. The police aren't going to knock on your door if you don't. Or at least I hope they're not. Okay, so theoretically that should, that sound effect then, that should, yeah, fit for the front. Rather lovely. So we'll just do that again for the back. It isn't a long process, it's just one of those ones that, you know, once you actually remember to sit down and do it, because you should have done it months ago, or I should have done it months ago anyway. But you know what happens. Even though we're still kind of in lockdown, life still gets in the way of other stuff. Shiz happens. Yes, I know. That it does. Okie doke. So, there's the back. Da, da, da. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to paint it or anything. I'm going to leave it as it is. I've got some glue here. This is Yoo-hoo. So it's a spirit-based glue, but it also is good for fabric, leatherwork, pretty much anything you can think of really. It smells glorious. I really think you ought to have it or use it in a well ventilated room, but you know what? It's great stuff. The other benefit, of course, with it being spirit based is that it don't wrinkle your paper, which is amazing. Okay, and it kind of grabs pretty quickly, but it gives you plenty of time if you need it. It gives you plenty of wiggle room. And if it dries and you get some on the front, it don't matter, because it just balls up and rubs off like just little balls of rubber. Watch, see if there's some there, look. See, it just rubbed away. That will dry, but it's also not going to be seen anyway. Okay, so while I've just got that there, I've got a sharp knife. My scalpel has got a new blade in it, so I'm just going to run that down the side just to remove off any excess. But I could just wait until it dries and then just use an emery board and just sand it off. But I'm just being a bit impatient today. There's no reason to be impatient. I've got plenty of time in the world. I'm not going anywhere. Me and the rest of the world. We ain't going nowhere at the minute. Okay, so let's just nib off that corner there as well. Right, so while that's just sort of dry, where's that blue come from? Off you go. Right, so that's kind of stuck. Looks rather lovely. So I'm just going to do the front cover. Just repeat the same process again. But before I do that, actually, I just need to pop that hole back in. Where, just give it a rub. Just so I know where it is. Where's my pokey tool? Hole's full of glue, but never mind. That should do it. That just reminds me where it is then. And we can sort out the rest later. Oh. Okay, Yoo-hoo time. So go around the edges first. I mean, you could just stick your piece of paper onto the front, then cut it out. But where's the fun in that, eh? Cut your shape first, and then trim to fit. There we go. This is the glue that my dad loves using when he does his leather work. For the sole reason he just likes the smell. There we go. Just level that off. Perfect. Absolute perfect. Alright, so what I'll do is I'm going to leave that for, well, I'm going to leave it until after I've finished my art journal page, my little mini tag page, and then I'm going to sand it down and then distress the edges and whatever. So I'll put that to one side. Okay, so I've got my dog biscuit box tag that I've already created using the front of the template. So again, I'm going to cover the back. So I'm going to grab another piece. So this time, let's have something a bit jolly. Well, It's a bit jolly. I like that blue. You like the blue? I've had this in my stash for so many years. I don't even know what year it is. It's probably some 2013. There you go. That's the year that's on it. So grab the back. As soon as we've already got the glue, let me just pop a hole through just so I know where it's going to be for the front. There we go. So like I said about doing the other one, let me put some glue on this. And then we'll just stick this down. I'll stick the paper directly over the top and then just cut it out. Because it's only cardboard, and I'm making use of paper or card that would normally go to recycling or whatever. Flip that out. No, let's just lay it down flat on the top. Just lining it up with the bottom, just so I know that I've got at least one side straight. And then just give that a rub. And all that does, it just pushes and smooths out the glue underneath, just helping to get an even fix. Et voila. Like magic. Okay, so we'll just use the edge of the tag as our straight edge. There we go. There's the back of my tag done already. And then I've just got a little pair of scissors. And I can just quickly whip around. Just take off the edges. Done. Least said, soonest mended. Okay, so I've got some distressing. So let's just add a little bit of grungy around the back. For no other reason than we can. One of these days I'll actually surprise myself and use a different colour other than vintage photo. I've got all the Tim Holtz colours, all barring the last colour I think it was, which was flamingo or something like flaming flamingo or something like that. I haven't got that one yet, but I do have the other new ones for that he's released. And I think some of them are still actually sat in the plastic wrap. Yeah, there you go, you see, look, Rustic Wilderness, it's still got its plastic wrap on. Right, I will get around to using it eventually. Right, okay, so the front, there's the back, looks lovely, like that. So where's our little card? So repeat, reuse and repeat the same image multiple times. Okay, so what I'm going to do is a collage page today. I don't know why, but I've just been drawn to doing more collage recently in my art journals rather than using stencils and paint and all that kind of stuff. I'm just enjoying the art of cutting out and creating images with using other images. So I've got a kind of old scene of sky here with some clouds, nice blue sky down there, which I'm going to use for my main background. And I've printed it off the right kind of shape and size, if you like, to do the panel for the back. So this is going to be the background for what I'm going to do. So I'll just quickly cut that out of the sheet, and I've not printed it on cardstock, I've actually printed it on paper, just ordinary thin printer paper, because with me cutting it out I want it to be pliable and not too rigid, but most of this is going to get covered up anyway with what I'm going to be putting in the foreground. There's going to be a fair bit of cutting out today, so there'll be some jump cuts or fast forwards today with a wee bit of music. Right, so let's cover the front of the tag. So I think this month the prompt of repeat, pretty much, apart from using a repeating pattern or motif, being pretty all-encompassing, you can pretty much use, you know, repeating images, photos, stamps, words, the same word over and over again, numbers over and over again, or even do everything a single colour. So just use the same colour but different shades of, which would still be allowed because you're repeating the same kind of themed motif. Not that much stuff isn't allowed when you're doing image inspirations. As long as you're inspired to create, you've pretty much forgiven everything. Like I always say to people on the main missions, you don't have to use every element every time. I do, but I feel that I need to set some kind of example. But only because it's my group and I really should, you know, go that extra mile to do that. But I always say to people, you don't have to include everything. Just one item would be enough, because it shows that at least you were inspired by at least one item each month to create something. And that's all I can really hope for, is that you get inspired by at least one thing that I've done. Right, so just to run that corner, I know I could have done this before, but actually it's too thick to go in there now, so I'm going to have to do it by hand. It's got multiple layers on now, so it won't go in the punch. The corner rounder. There we go. And somewhere I've also got an emery board, which I also like just to go around the edges, just to smooth everything off. But I don't think I need it today. Don't think I need it. Okay, so my repeating motif this month is going to be orange slices. So that's one that I've already cut out. I have got another two. So that's going to be my repeating motif for these now. Like I said, I've already cut that one out. And I'm just going to cut out the other two. So because this is worse than watching paint dry, watching somebody cut something out, I will jump to where I'm getting to the end of the third one. And I'll see you back. Una momento. Okay, as you can see, I'm just wobbling the paper up and down just to kind of get a little bit of a wobbly edge rather than just a perfect round circle. Just for a bit more kind of like authentic edge to it. So yes, I know I'm going to be covering up a fair bit, but it don't matter. It really don't matter. So I could actually, I could have got away with not actually putting the background down at all. Bop, 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 bom. But do you know what? Let's just have a little bit. And I'm going to put them about halfway up. So yeah, I could have got away with not using any background whatsoever. But just so that we can, let's have a look. I'm sure I've got the no spiced marmalade. Got one in archival there, I think. Yeah, spiced marmalade. That'll do. Just because I said I would do. Just flip over and get the spongy. It's been sitting underneath. And I'm hoping this hasn't dried out too much. Do you know what? The print is so kind of vibrant you can't really tell. So I'm kind of flogging a dead horse really. You can't really tell. Never mind. Okay, let's move on. I know when I'm flogging a dead horse. As the saying goes. No horses were harmed, don't worry. Alright, so let's do it about there. So we'll just create a little bit. So I'm going to put some yoo-hoo on there. I'm not going to go right to the edge because we're going to get it cut off. So about there, methinks. Okay, so then the next one, which is the one that I distressed, which really I didn't need to. So again, just up the middle. And then we'll do that about there. And then the third one. Tops and bottoms. So I've tried to even out the gap, vary the pattern so it doesn't look like I have just stuck the same thing down, so I have kind of got a line on that. Okay, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. So again, flip that over and we'll just whip those edges off with my knife. Like so. Okay, so the next image I'm going to use is an image taken from an old 1950s Singer sewing machine advert, and it was a Christmas advert, and she was stood surrounded by, the dress was even longer, and she was stood surrounded by sewing machines. It was like a Christmas advert, I think I've just said. trying to persuade husbands to buy their wives a sewing machine for Christmas, which is why she's so happily delirious, look, because her husband's bought her a sewing machine. Because, you know, you've got to sing a sewing machine, you've arrived. So again, so this is going to take a few minutes just to fussy cut out, which is why I'm just using my small scissors. So I will jump to the end just as I'm finishing off. So I will see you in a little while. Okay, so I've cut out my deliriously happy lady, and as you can see I'm just going round the edges with a distress marker just to kind of disguise some of those raw edges. I don't really need to go around all of them because I'm going to be putting some of the lighter areas onto lighter areas, so they're not going to stand out very much, but just to kind of disguise some of them. I'm just going over the edge, maybe like of a dress, where my cutting out wasn't exactly wonderful. And then just catching in some areas, like under her arms and such. I think that's going to be okay. I think actually I've missed a bit, just a tiny bit just there where her finger is. It's just like trimming a pair of nails. There we go. Okay, so the distress marker I'm using for that is walnut stain, mainly because my vintage photo once disappeared. Again. Saying nothing. There you go. She's going to go on there. All sunshine and smiles, look. So again, we're going to use just a little bit. Let's put some of that glue on there. And that, it's going to get messy. Do you know what? I don't really care. Okay. As long as the fingers are down. That's all I really care about. Alright, let's just lift her up. Flip her over. And we can position her exactly where we want her. And I'm just gently rubbing off any excess glue just with my finger until it dries, and then I can go back in and just rub it a little bit harder. But that, I think, is cool. Okay, so one more element, which I've got some landscape, which I want to put over the top just so she looks like she's popping up. So this is just a piece of like desert rocky kind of mountain landscape with a road going through the middle. So I'll just trim that out quickly. This isn't going to take long. And the good thing about mountains like this is if you make a mistake, nobody's going to know. Because you can just create a different crag or a different rocky outcrop. Nobody cares. Okay. Do you know what? I might cut that middle bit out. Do you reckon? I think I will. I think I will. So decisions being made on the fly. It doesn't have to be perfect. All I'm doing is just following the line of the cliff edge or the mountain edge. There we go. Haha, like it, that's better. So again, glue, 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 glue. Like I said before, at the beginning of the video, I've been doing quite a lot of collage recently. We go through phases where we don't use certain products or we don't use certain techniques or styles. We tend to fixate on a particular technique or style or whatever every so often, and that becomes like the motif for the month, or it does with me anyway. But I've just been happier or happiest while I've been creating to do collage. And I've also been doing, when I've not really wanted to sit with glue and scissors, I've also been doing a few bits and pieces, some digital collage, which is what kind of inspired this piece, because I did a larger version of this a week or two ago, but I only used the one orange slice as a sunrise. But I thought it would work well with multiple. Ta-da! Have I used a motif or yeah, there's only that one that's actually had a kind of phrase on it. That one didn't have a phrase or a motif or a title. Not all of them have to. So again, let's just whip around those corners. Just to finish off. And I think I am going to go around with some distressing, just to give this that kind of final edge. Right, I'll need to go put some more glue under that in a little while. I love it. Not necessarily somewhere over the rainbow. What did I say earlier? Sunshine and smiles. Right, what else do we need to do? Just pop a hole in, don't we now? I tend to go through, and I don't know what I did with my pokey tool. It's probably right there in front of it. It is, it's right there, look. Right there in front of me. I've lost the hole. Go! Right. Let's just make a quick indent using my Template 8. There we go. So sometimes I punch out and create hole reinforcers, but I don't know what's happened to the punch, so I'm not going to do that today. Oof. Crikey. Crikey Mikey. It's gone through one side but not the other. So I'll just have to trim that out. Oh, that's rubbish. That should do it. There we go. There we go. Okay, so which way around have I stuck? So she's upwards, that way, so that way. So there's my little card for the back, just to say what the word was for the inspiration, or what the theme was. So we'll get glue on the back there. So flip that over and stick that down. Okay, so what date is it today? It is Saturday the 20th, so we need to rate that in up there. So 20th of March 21. There we go. So there is my art tag, my collage art tag, using the word repeat as my inspiration. So my sunshine slices rising above the horizon, with that lady that seemed very, very pleased with herself. Oh, right, okay, we haven't quite finished yet, have we? Because we need to just finish this off. Right. So let's just grab that and then just use the edge just to remove the excess. And then we've got just that round there. Really quick and simple once it's dried. Just use the hard edge as your straight edge rule just to cut and trim. There we go. Cut and trim. Now, I did say if there's any glue it just rubs off, which it has. Lovely. So let's just quickly grab some distress ink and then we'll go around the edge just to kind of finish it off. I think my distress ink is due for a rejuice because it's getting a bit dry. And I've probably been saying that for the past few weeks. Like I said, I know I have mentioned before that I do have a re-inker somewhere, but I think Ian's nicked it. He has a tendency to borrow and not put back. He kind of absorbs them into his own little collection. When you're doing something like this, obviously you've distressed to taste. You can go really, really light, not bother at all, or go really, really heavy. It's really, really up to you how grungy and old looking you like your bits to look. I'm kind of middle of the road. I like to be able to see it, but I don't like it to be too overwhelming. Sometimes once you've done, you actually can't tell, which means I think you've struck the right balance if you can only just tell that it has been aged or distressed, because it means that it blends in as well as it possibly could do. So that's the measure of success, I think, with something like that, when you can't really tell that you've done it. Okay, that's the hole. Just using the rounded edge of my pokey tool just to kind of get that fine edge. But I think that's it. That's going to be my base, my back, and then I can pop the book ring all the way through. Flip it round and then add in my page for March. There we go. So that's it. That's my mission, my mid-month mini mission inspiration art tag. This is just cleaning up the cover. Done for the month of March using the word repeat. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me create that collage tag and also finally get round to covering the back of my tag journal. So if you have, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, why not? What's stopping you? You can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. That's all from me for now. Don't forget, you can join us over on our Mission Inspiration Facebook group. That's the URL on screen now, but there's also a clickable link in the description area below. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I get the feeling she's going to burst into song at any second. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.